This isn't a sort of reenactment or something artificial that's going on here. This is Irish culture just as much as it is in Dublin or Cork. It's the same thing. It's not different.
To me, the Centre for Irish Music is a great school to learn Irish music, but I think beyond that, it's a community. It's a place to meet friends, to build friendships. Seeing the kids growing up together and sharing a love for Irish music has just been wonderful.
The first time I started getting really interested in it is when my mom was just messing around on the whistle, because we had a box of whistles downstairs in the basement, and she brought them up and she started learning this tune, and then I got jealous. And then I started wanting to learn the tune too, and then I just started picking it up and playing it.
My mom had me playing Suzuki violin for a little bit, and I hated it, and I told her, Mom, I'm never playing music if this is what it is. I'm never doing this. And then I got a tin whistle in my hands, and I adored it. The music that we're playing is really good, and it holds a standard to the rest of the world, and even in Ireland.
A number of years back, I had a work assignment which required my family and I to move to Galway, Ireland. And we'd never been to Galway, we'd never been to Ireland, for that matter. So we didn't really know that much about the Irish and their culture and their art and their music. But I had this connection with a little record store in town, and so was in there, and they said, well, you've got to get some Irish music. You should start with a couple of these CDs. So I brought these CDs home, and we played them in the house straight away, and we were all immediately captured by this music. We were all kind of drawn in, and there's a kind of an energy to it, and also a sense of something deeper. The Centre for Irish Music is a community. It's a community that's focused in on a culture that you may or may not have grown up with. So, but it's this kind of culture that's pretty wide open. So you don't actually have to be Irish to find a place here that you would really enjoy being a part of this with you and your family. And if your interests are just for the music, pure music, this is such a deeply musical place. It comes from a place that's deep within a culture, but yet it's kind of shared across culture.
I like that it's a community and we can just come at basically any time. There'll be a session that you can join. You can just play music with other people and learn tunes from other people, and you can teach other people other tunes. It's very social as well as playing music.
Me too, ditto. One of the neat things for me has been to have her being involved in the community outside of just our family, because we play music at home and she's introduced to it through me, but to have her learn tunes from somebody that's not me and to learn tunes with friends and be part of a group that's separate from me has been really fun to watch.
I think people really should take lessons at the Centre for Irish Music because there are good teachers, and in all of the ensembles, no matter how many people you have, it's still all fun, and you always learn something new every day.
My grandson and I both had expressed an interest in learning bodhrán, so we decided to sign up together, and that's really been a lot of fun to take lessons together. And Todd is such a great teacher. He's so patient with John and just keeps bringing us along, adding new techniques.
At my dance competition, it was all live musicians, and then I started doing the harp and the whistle.
Sounding good?
I loved it.
I want children singing with their parents. I want children singing with each other. I just think music is people's birthright, and every person can have music in their lives, and they can be musical participants, not just musical consumers.
Since the founding of the school, I think the entire Irish community has been led and, aided by this, foundational organisation being the Centre for Irish Music. There's a lot more goes on in the school than just music, and there's a lot more taught to the kids about the history of why it's important and what it ties them to. So now with a school of 200 students strong, the growth for the future is incredibly exciting, but it does take a lot of energy and a lot of work. And the collaboration between the Celtic Junction and the Centre for Irish Music, they're almost essential to each other. And I think it's been a great relationship over the last, 10, coming up on 10 years as it is now.
Up sa sean a bhrach fuair do áirín bás only hórní fór a chuisí sús a tráis. Up sa sean a bhrach fuair do áirín bás only hórin in cor chuisí sús go tráis. Lookin' Andy cookin' Andy yo, spookin' Andy cookin' Andy yo, cookin' Andy cookin' Andy yo. 40 on the shade, the slinkin' Philip yo. He didn't dance and dance and he didn't dance today. He didn't dance and dance nor would he after day. He didn't dance and dance and he didn't dance today. He didn't dance and dance nor did he yesterday. Throw him up, throw him up high, throw him up, he'll be back by and by. Throw him up, throw him up high, throw him up to heaven, we'll see if he can fly. Throw him over, says, throw him over, he'll come back again. Throw him over, says, throw him over, he'll come back for a day. Piper, sell your pipes and buy your wife a gown. Piper, sell your pipes, I'm sure they fetch a pound. Piper, sell your pipes and buy your wife a gown. I wouldn't sell my pipes for all the wives in town. Cookin' Andy, cookin' Andy, oh, cookin' Andy, cookin' Andy, oh, cookin' Andy, cookin' Andy, oh. 14 on the shield, the sink of Philippi Ho. 14 on the shield, the sink of Philippi Ho. James the thousand, ink shame the mission go. 14 on the shield, the sink of Philippi Ho. James the thousand, ink shame the mission go. Oh, Shivana Jassy, oh, Shivana Joy. Oh, Shivana Jassy, ink of Philippi Ho. Oh, Shivana Jassy, oh, Shivana Joy. Oh, Shivana Jassy, ink of Philippi Ho. 14 on the shield, the sink of Philippi Ho. Shin my Vigo, Dusho, Sally, Basket Joe. 14 on the shield, the sink of Philippi Ho. Shin my Vigo, Dusho, Sally, Basket Joe. Oh, Shivana Jassy, oh, Shivana Joy. Oh, Shivana Jassy, ink of Philippi Ho. Oh, Shivana Jassy, oh, Shivana Joy. Oh, Shivana Jassy, ink of Philippi Ho. 14 on the shield, the sink of Philippi Ho. Rasta Coro, Viva, my Regaxito. 14 on the shield, the sink of Philippi Ho. Rasta Coro, Viva, my Regaxito. Oh, Shivana Jassy, oh, Shivana Joy. Oh, Shivana Jassy, ink of Philippi Ho. Oh, Shivana Jassy, oh, Shivana Joy. Oh, Shivana Jassy, ink of Philippi Ho. 14 on the shield, the sink of Philippi Ho. Even then, the link of sheep, the 14 on the shield, the oh Siobhan McShoy, oh Siobhan McJassy, ding to Philippi Show, oh Siobhan McJassy, oh Siobhan McShoy, oh Siobhan McJassy, ding to Philippi Show.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nora Rendell, and I'm the Executive Artistic Director of the Center for Irish Music. And we are in the middle of an amazing day. It's our first day of adult workshops at the Minnesota Irish Music Weekend at Home. So welcome to all of you from all over the country. And we even have a few people from Ireland joining us for our workshops. So this is kind of like our third day of the festival, and everything has just been going amazingly well. And we feel like we're together, don't we? We feel like we're together, even though we're not all actually together. This broadcast, or this particular stream right now, is coming from my house. I'm just a few blocks away from the Celtic Junction Art Center, where tonight we are going to be having a concert streamed live from the Celtic Junction Art Center. It's usually our big master artist concert where all of the master artists who come from Ireland and the States would usually perform all together. And tonight we are featuring Sean Gavin on the pipes and the flute, Danny Diamond on the fiddle, and Brian Miller on guitar and bouzouki. So it's going to be a fantastic concert, and it'll be a full-length concert. So 7:30 Sean will start, and then the second half will be Brian and Danny playing together, and then they'll might play a few together at the end of the night. So 7:30 this evening. Do share on Facebook or on YouTube or wherever you have all of your online friends. So that's tonight at 7:30 p.m. Central Time in Minnesota, which is the center of the world as far as I'm concerned, especially on the Minnesota Irish Music Weekend at Home. So we are in for a treat this afternoon. One of the best parts about this virtual festival is that we've had a chance to feature each of our artists just in a little bit more depth, and had a chance to listen to them all play just more than one or two sets. And so you're in for a treat this afternoon. Our featured artist is Conal Ó Gráda, an incredible flute player, and so he's going to be playing a set from his house in Cork. And Conal Ó Gráda has for many, many years been at the forefront of traditional Irish flute playing. And he's truly one of the most influential flute players and one of my favorite flute players. I've wanted to have Conal here right in Minnesota for many years. And unfortunately, it hasn't quite worked out, although it has felt like he's been here. Conal came here many, many years ago on a cultist tour when he was 16 3/4. And there's a photo posted on our Facebook page and on the Owen McKiernan Library's Facebook page of a photo of that tour. So check that out and become a Center for Irish Music's friend on Facebook and the Celtic Junction Art Center. But I'll go back to talking about Conal. It's just an amazing photo, so go check it out. We have a whole bunch of students at the school who are right around that age, and it's just really incredible to think how early musicians develop their style and develop their personality musically. So in his youth, Conal was an award-winning All-Ireland flute player, and he recorded in 1990. The Top of the Coom was his first solo album, and it made waves internationally. And still to this day, flute players all have to listen to that album and learn all the tunes off of it. We even played a set from there at the Great Session Experience on Friday night. It was really fun. I guess that was just yesterday. So he's got an incredible style, and I know you'll really enjoy it. Conal is also, as we learned today, just a fantastic teacher. He has a great attention to detail, and he's very articulate about what it takes to play the flute, and also he has very firmly formed opinions, which is really, I think, the best way to learn how to play like somebody. He's able to articulate it, and that was fascinating to hear a little bit about today. So you can buy Conal's albums on his website. Go check it out. And he also has an excellent flute tutor, a flute book that you should all go and buy as well. So without further ado, please welcome to the Minnesota Irish Music at Home weekend virtual stage, Mr. Conal Ó Gráda.
Hello, Conal Ó Gráda and Shop. Céad míle fáilte roimh go dtí Cnochbuí. You're all very welcome to Cnochbuí, situated in the heart of Gaeltacht Musgreen. Up there is where the ravens live, messengers from the goddess Anu, who lives just a couple of miles west of this. There's my hall over doing silage over there on the hill. And over there, the end of that steep slope called File Numera, that's where the fairies hold their dances. You'll notice it's a beautiful day, not unusual here, because in Cnochbuí we have a microclimate, and the weather's like this every day. We grow a lot of oranges here. So we'll wander in the road here now to where I live. I'll show you a couple of things as we go by. You'll notice those lovely orange bushes there, or yellow bushes. It's gorse, grows wild around here. They say it's a sign of good land, but I don't know about that. Down there at the far side of the valley, the Seonach, or the Salon Valley, is probably see the skyscrapers. It's downtown Cooley, a village with no pub, no shop, no post office, but it does have a beautiful outdoor heated swimming pool. Holly bushes here, and down the ditch there you might be able to make out some rhododendrons, kind of a foreign invader really, I suppose, in these parts. As you can see, it's very fertile land. The big rolling plains of Cnochbuí. Nice hawthorn tree here coming into blossom. Of course the hawthorn tree is very associated with the fairies, and the fairy trees are all hawthorns. A beautiful smell off these blossoms, particularly in the evening. And here's a couple of lads working very hard, getting into condition. And I suppose I'd better get on with what I'm supposed to be doing, which is playing a few tunes for you. And I've been to the house now. Oh look, there's Polka. Polka! This is my dog, convinced that he's the most handsome hound in the entire parish. And who's to disagree with him? Hey Polka. Say hello. Yeah. So anyway, lads, I'll head off and play a few tunes to you. See you in a second. you're all very welcome to the Minnesota Irish Music Week. It's a shame that we couldn't be there in person, but it's nice to do it this way as well. My first time doing one of these concerts, and hopefully it'll work out. I hope you all enjoy the experience as well. I'd like to thank Nora Rendell and her arts team for asking me over, and then subsequently putting it online, and also her tech team as well for helping to put this, for broadcasting this. And my own tech team at home here, Cathal Toomey, Benny McCarthy and Juliet. So I started off there with two of my own tunes, yeah. The first one was called Rinkeen on Pinkeen, which stands for, Pinkeen is a small little minnow that you see in a river or a lake, and on a sunny day you see them darting around, so that was the inspiration for that. So it was a Rinkeen on Pinkeen, which is the dance of the minnow. And the second one is called Budgie's Ball. Nothing to do with avian anatomy or anything to do with birds dancing either. It's an old hurling story from Ballincollig. So I'm going to carry on now with two polkas that I learned from the Murphys, harmonica players down in Wexford, and who years later inspired me to actually take up the harmonica myself. The first one is called the Church Street Polka, and the second one is called the Happy Polka. Oh God, I have to imagine people clapping. Thank you. I continue now with an air. This one I wrote. My youngest brother, picture up there of him up there on the piano, Donnacha. He was very ill for a year, and subsequently, sadly, he passed away nearly 2 years ago. But for the period he was sick, I used to go for a walk every morning up the back of the hill here, and very early. And there was a kind of family of ravens living up there, and I just asked them basically kind of, I suppose, pointless questions really, like what was going to happen and why did it happen and all that kind of stuff. And this air is basically their response to me. They say you should never ask a direct question of the wise, so that's why the answer's like this, I suppose. It's called Darca an Egg Riv, which translates as the raven's opinion. Thank you again. Right, I'll carry on now. I'm going to play you a new reel. It's so new that it doesn't even have a name yet. So I'll play that one, and then I'll play a very well-known reel called the Congress reel. If any think of good names, you might post them in, maybe suggestions. Thank you. Oh, God. Hope you enjoyed them. I'm going to play polkas for you now. 3 of my own. The first one is called Security Status Orange. And the second one is called The Hijacker Cat. I don't know if you heard the joke about the hijacker cat. But the hijacker cat got on the plane and he went up to the pilot and he put a gun to the pilot's head and he said, "Take me to the Canaries." And that's the name of the third tune. So we have Security Status Orange, The Hijacker Cat, and Take Me to the Canaries. Okay, thank you. I carry on with some jigs. Again, they're two of my own compositions. The first one is called Fis Fassa Fe Gassa, which translates as the knowledge of wisdom whilst possessed or bewitched. And I suppose it could be one of two things. It could be how the insight you get into the other world after being swept away by the fairies, or it could be the knowledge you get of other dimensions after eating hallucinogenic mushrooms. So it's one of the two, I'm not sure which. Maybe they're both the same thing. And the second one is called Cushcame Nashi, which translates as fairy footsteps. And the story behind that is when we moved into this house, there was an old house standing on the site which we had to knock because it was in bad condition. So we knocked that house and we built this house right on top of it. And when we moved in, we discovered that the ghost from the old house was now living in our new house. And you could hear her walking around the place and crashing and banging and that. And the girls were very small at the time and were a bit concerned. So what we told them was that it wasn't a ghost that they could hear, but it was fairies walking around. But it's just rubbish, like. So there's no such thing as fairies. It had to be a ghost. And I called it Cushcame Nashi. So Fis Fasa, Fegasa, agus Cushcame Nashi. Right, thank you again. I should have told you, actually, I forgot to tell you to look out for the ghost in the tune. Because when I wrote the second tune about the haunted house, I found that the tune was haunted as well. So if you want to listen back, you might be able to spot that. Right. Right. I hope you're enjoying yourselves now. It is very strange, actually, to play to no audience. Well, I do, actually. I have one audience sitting there on the couch, monitoring the camera and the computer and telling me what's coming up next. But it is quite strange to play with no reaction whatsoever, really. But we'll struggle on. What I'll do is I'll play a couple of marches next. These are marches I learned from fiddle player Brendan Larissy, and they're called the Gold March and the Silver March. thank you again. Right. I'm going to play a surveyor now for you. Again, it's one of my own. It's called Tarngrocht na Cali Dove. Now, I have another air called Tarngrocht na Cali Bui, which is the prophecy of the yellow hag. Now, she was a fairly optimistic girl, but Tarngrocht na Cali Dove is the prophecy of the black hag. And she has a much kind of grimmer outlook on life. And this air is about loneliness, hunger, desolation, and death. And I hope you really enjoy it. And I'm going to play a march after, I think. Coom Garav na Marav. When I was a young fella, my father's in Belfast, and he had a lot of relations in Donegal. And we used to go to Donegal on our holidays. And in Fintown was a cousin of his by the name of Con Brennan. And I didn't notice at the time, but Con Brennan was a nationally famous storyteller and has been recorded by the Archive and by Radio Nagarta and various bodies like that. But he was telling us stories in his kitchen. And he told us a story about coming home one night from Fintown. On a summer's night, it was dark, and he was coming along the bog road, and he could hear a body of men, or people anyway, marching towards him, like. And he knew from the sound of it that it was, 30 or 20 or 30 people, and he was straining his eyes down the road to try to see them. And of course, he couldn't see them. And they came closer and closer and closer. And finally, they were on top of him, and he was flung roughly into the ditch, and the sound of the marchers moved past. So that was the story, and I composed this march just recently, actually, after thinking about the story, and I called it Coom Garav na Marav, which is the rough step of the dead. So this is a very bleak set. Right, thank you. I think that's probably the first time that air was played in public, I think, yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. That's why I was so nervous. Okay, I'm going to finish up. I'm going to finish up with a set of reels. Listen, I hope you really enjoyed the concert. It was lovely to play for you, and thanks again to the Minnesota Irish Music Week and to Nora and her team. So I'm going to play 2 reels. The second one is called The Karate Kid, and I wrote it for my brother's son, who was just 2 there last week, I think, yeah, and 2 weeks ago. And I called it the Karate Kid. And to keep it company, I composed another reel, and it's called Kung Fu Katie. So these will be 2 great tunes now to fight the coronavirus with. So I'll leave you with these 2 tunes, and over and out. Baile Bhúirne.
fantastic. Thank you so much, Conal. Conal, oh my goodness me. I've been sitting in front of a computer too long here. Conal, that was absolutely gorgeous. And thank you for putting that together. It is hard to play a concert for no audience. We had decided somewhere in the last few weeks to have some of the artists pre-record. And we did that for you. We thought that it would be a higher quality music and video and everything for you. So that's why we decided to go for that approach. And that was just a fantastic concert. Thank you so much, Conal. I'm just going to, before I let you go, I have a couple announcements for all of you out there. First of all, I just wanted to thank all of our sponsors for the Minnesota Irish Music Weekend at Home. We couldn't do this without your support. Larkin Hoffman Attorneys, to the Metro Regional Arts Council, who gave us a grant that and allowed us to keep the grant through all of these changes that we've had in the event, and to the Minnesota State Arts Board that supports the Centre for Irish Music. We're an Irish music school and we have classes all year round. So thank you for your support, and to the taxpayers of Minnesota for your support, because that is government funds, and hallelujah, some of that money is coming to arts organizations like the Centre for Irish Music. All of these concerts are free, and but we do accept donations and contributions to the Minnesota Irish Music Weekend at Home Concert Fund. So I've put a link up there. If you're able to make a contribution during these difficult times, we would very much appreciate it. And then we will, two other things. One, summer lessons and classes are starting. We're a virtual music school all of a sudden as of March 16th. And so we have some fascinating classes and lessons happening through the summer. And if you're interested, just go to our website, centerforirishmusic.org, and you can check out what we have on offer this summer. I'll tell you more about that sometime tonight. And then on to tonight, it's actually being presented by our concert sponsors, the Celtic Junction Arts Centre themselves. And just a very, very few of us will actually be at the Celtic Junction putting this concert together. So it's featuring Sean Gavin, Danny Diamond on the fiddle, Sean's playing flute and pipes, and Brian Miller on guitar and bouzouki. And they've had a few outdoor rehearsals, and the music is going to be incredible. So that's presented thanks to the Celtic Junction Arts Centre for supporting the concerts and giving us so much support through their publicity, and all of the people that are fans of theirs. They have helped connect those people to us. So finally, Conal Ó Gráda, that was absolutely amazing. I want to be able to play polkas like you. It's just so inspiring to hear you play and to hear a whole concert of unaccompanied flute. What a treat for all of us. So have a wonderful afternoon, everyone. We will see you at 7:30 Central Standard Time. It's 3.5 hours from now, and maybe over in Ireland you can stay up late and see this concert as well. Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, centerforirishmusic.org. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone. Bye-bye.